Ah, good morning, my swamp lily. I trust you slept well. Like the dead.
You stretch out your back, making a sound like snapping twigs.
Well, no time to dilly-dally. I sense the next 4 souls on our list. You must travel east out of the forest and towards civilization. Ugh, I hate crowds. Well, it can't be helped. You must seek out these souls in the village, the market, the docks, and the graveyard. The graveyard might at least be a reprieve from chattering townsfolk. All right, goat, I'll bring you your souls. You seem much more reasonable today. Have a change of heart, perchance? If these next 4 are anything like the last, they'll get what's coming to them. I'm glad we have reached an understanding.
To so many passerbys, this seems yet another collection of crusty barnacles clinging to the surface of a stone until the tide next surges. But you can spot the inconsistencies within the scattered arrangement. And with a single exacting touch, the illusion falls away.
Excuse me, can you spare any seashells? I tried all along the beach, but everyone else always gets them before I can.
She points along the shoreline where you see scores of fishermen digging in the sand. Every so often, one of them discovers a seashell and rejoices as if it were a gold nugget.
Seashells? What's the big deal with the seashells?
The little girl looks down the docks to a particularly large ship at anchor.
See that big boat over there? My dad's the captain. He's supposed to come ashore and tell me all about his adventures on the high seas like he always does, but he hasn't come out since they docked. So I tried to go and see him, but there's a grouchy sailor who says I can't go inside the boat unless I got seashells. So I tried to find some, but now everyone else is trying to find them too. There's not enough for me.
Sounds fishy, all right. You stay here, little one. Let me have a chat with the sailor and get to the bottom of this.
Really? Oh, I'll bet he'll listen to a grown-up like you. I promise I won't move a muscle.
Whoa there, where do you think you're hobbling off to?
Me? Why, I've come to visit my, son.
Har har har. No, you ain't. The only family anyone on this tub has is the sea herself. And no one gets aboard unless they pay the toll in seashells first.
What's a gold-brained swabby like you want with a bunch of dirty shells?
Tain't for me. The captain got his own business with them shells, and I ain't one to question him. So either bring me your dues or cast off. Bring me seashells, the nice kind too, the one that sounds like the ocean.
The merchant's eyebrows raise at your approach, but he remains generally cordial. You elbow your way to the front of the crowd that has gathered to observe a three-way shouting match. A trio of merchants are yelling wildly at each other.
You treacherous fiend! I know it was you that snuck into my shop and put mealworms in my bread. Worms? Do you think I have time to try-ups about your silly little bakery? I have to make sure you stay out of my smithy. Firecracks in my coal. I could have lost an eye. Ha! You would have deserved it, you traitor. I know you ruined a whole batch of my candles with that sulfur stuff. Now my store smells like a mule's behind.
The men launch themselves into one another, fists swinging in a whirl. Off in the shadows, you catch a stealthy figure watching the chaos with a delightful grin.
Ah, dance, dance, how the idiots prance.
With a flick of her tail, the feline disappears through the maze of market stalls.
What's all this commotion about?
A dull, monotonous voice drones out across the square in reply.
You don't even know the worst of it.
Hitched to a post, this tragic creature raises its tear-filled eyes at you. Despite its depressing appearance, you find yourself somehow feeling lighter.
What on earth is a rainbow spirit doing in the midst of a market brawl? I thought your kind thrived on love and sunshine and all that kind of sappy drivel. Oh, sure. Normally this market's a wonderful place to be, but lately it's been nothing but misery and unrest. Just look around. All I see are three little brats puffing out their chests and barking like mutts. Surely a hot meal and a good night's rest will cool their heads. I'm afraid it goes deeper than that. You see, all sorts of awful things have been happening. Vandalism in folks' gardens, trash in the well, wagon wheels tampered with, rumors spreading like wildfire about this and that, cheats and lies. Now I'm usually the one who keeps the peace around here with my trusty magic horn, makes the truth flow and keeps folks honest. But with all this deception and treachery in the air, it's as limp as a noodle. My powers are useless. Tisk tisk, a droopy horn is no laughing matter. If you had a bit of a pick-me-up, do you suppose you can get this place under control? Sure as sugar. I just need to get some of my strength back. A good snack ought to perk you right up.
The miserable creature dips its snout to investigate your tasty dessert.
Is this for me? It troubles me to see a benevolent beast afflicted by such melancholy, and the quicker the horn of yours works, the quicker we can sort out this mess.
Throwing back its head, the unicorn swallows the odd confection without even chewing. The spots on its back glow a soft lavender, and its hooved feet levitate off the ground for just a moment. From above, a thin sliver of sunlight breaks through the clouds and sparkles off the unicorn's horn, momentarily blinding you in a dazzling flash. When you look back, the unicorn is happily wagging its tail at you. Its horn looks rejuvenated with a pearlescent sheen.
Ah, that hit the spot. Looks like the old truth detector is working again. Well, what are you waiting for? Blast those fools.
Unicorn lowers its horn and takes aim at the feuding shopkeepers. Long moment passes as the unicorn's body quivers with anticipation.
Wait, I swear this never happens. My powers are all charged up, but none of them are actually lying. So they really did stab each other's businesses then? My horn will only be able to blast the lies out of someone who's truly false. As far as they know, you're each telling the truth. Which means someone else must be responsible for this mess.
The feuding shopkeepers run out of insults to hurl at each other and all storm back to their businesses in a huff.
I'll go investigate the scenes of the crimes at their shops. Maybe I can turn up some clues.
A great offering of produce sits before this effigy, but you glimpse a single telltale marker secreted. A quick tug and the illusion is dispelled.
That insufferable baker. I'll tear his nose off the next time I see him.
Settle down, Master Chandler. You're being duped by a prankster.
A prankster? It was that baker, I'm sure of it. I don't see no evidence to the contrary.
You want evidence, eh? I bet there's a clue around here that will unveil the real truth.
Get some evidence or get out.
This bag smells suspiciously of sulfur and has a shipping address stamped on it. Pier 3 Imports, Dockyards. This is the shipping address for the sulfur crates, but you don't find anything incriminating. You do, however, spot something wedged between the watery piles of the pier.
Something must have gotten knocked off the docks or was perfectly disposed of. Let's reel it up and take a look-see.
You fish out an empty sulfur tin with the wad-wet paper stuffed inside. Though the ink is running, you can still make out
Another brilliant strategy by the world's most brilliant strategist. That's me, the cat. If you're reading this, then be sure to write my name down in the history books. This sulfur smells so rotten, it will put those candlesticks the Chandler makes right in the trash. He'll think the baker did it when I dust the shop with flour.
Well, then, this is the proof the Chandler is looking for. Get some evidence or get out.
The Chandler's cheeks flush a bright red, stomping and shouting at the cat's confession.
Why, that yelling pest, that's my whole livelihood she's meddling with. You agree the baker's innocent, then? Pa, looks like he didn't have a hand in this horrible crime. Though, his bread's still stale, if you ask me. As long as you three put a stop to this ruckus, maybe we can put an end to this grudge after all. I'll keep my eyes peeled for that darn cat. She won't show her nose around here again, that's for sure.
That oafish blacksmith just grinds my gears. I ought to give him a smack on the brow the next time I see him.
Master Baker, please settle down. You've been tricked.
Ha! I very much doubt that. Only a fool would believe that story without any evidence.
Fine, you want evidence, I'll get you some. The true criminal must have left clues around here somewhere.
This strange vase doesn't look like it belongs in a bakery, and there's still some bugs and dirt inside. An inscription on the side reads, Harold Grimes, 1717, hanged under the old grave tree for crimes he never committed.
Yutha, can I get a word with ya? Sorry, ma'am, but I must warn you, the graveyard's not safe right now. You got flowers. I can go lay 'em at a grave if you want.
When I croak, nobody better bring me posies. What's the matter?
Something's got the spirits of this place riled up in a real bad way. All restless and cranky they is. There's this horrible howling coming from the mansion up the road, a scream that'd chill the bumps right off of your goose. Every time I gather up my wits to go take a look-see, my knees turn to jelly soon as I set foot on the path. Mark my words, that creepy old place is haunted by something more than just a sleepless spirit.
Ghost stories are for children. When you get to my age, it takes something special to put the fright in you.
Well, if you're so sure about that, could you go up there and tell me what you see? Maybe it has something to do with what's got all these ghosts so agitated.
Where one might expect the door to a mausoleum, here instead stands a shrine, adorned heavily with skulls, perhaps to deter closer inspection. But their arrangement does not serve the dead nor their memory, instead being placed to mask a path beyond. Your knowing fingers reduce it to dust with a tap. The crooked fella peers down at you, as if you're someone else coming to make fun of his eternal predicament. You spot a piece of paper floating inside his translucent body.
What do you got there? Don't suppose I can convince you to cough up that paper, can I?
He sprinkled the exorcising salts onto the ghost. He sputters and sneezes up the paper suspended inside his head before going back to swinging as if nothing had happened.
Looks like the page of someone's diary.
My best plan yet. These green bugs will make the baker's buns taste like a bomb to tears. I'll just dump the dirt out of a stupid urn to carry them.
That should be proof enough to convince the baker who the real culprit was.
Well, have you got any evidence yet?
The baker's brow arches in anger as he reads the cat's confession.
That unrefined little urchin, how dare she tamper with my buns like that?
You'll forgive the blacksmith then?
Huh? Well, sure, it doesn't look like he was involved in this at all.
Splendid. If you three can get along long enough, we can bring the real culprit to justice.
That blasted chairman will wring his scrawny neck.
Calm yourself, Master Blacksmith. You're being played for a fool.
Ha, fat chance. Only some hard evidence would ever convince me that it wasn't that Chandler.
If someone really was sneaking around in here, there ought to be some clues left behind.
Only evidence could possibly change my mind.
Some fireworks have been hastily shoved into this coal barrel. A tag on the fireworks reads property of town watch. If lost, please return to the village gallows. You peer through the slatted planks of the town's gallows. Doesn't look like it's seen much use recently. The space underneath it is stuffed with the evidence storage and parade decorations, including a box of dusty fireworks. An errant note catches your eye, but you can't quite fit your hand through the slots.
Drat, I'll need something thin and grabby. You pluck out the slip of paper from under the gallows. It looks like a torn notebook page hastily stuffed in a crack, almost wanting to be discovered.
If you're reading this, then you no doubt bear witness to my greatest crime spree. I, the cat, will be remembered throughout history as the greatest underground mastermind. The town flatfoots will never notice a couple parade fireworks missing, and that blacksmith buffoon will lose more than just a few chest hairs.
How arrogant. This proof ought to convince the blacksmith of the cat's involvement.
Only evidence can possibly change my mind.
Man's beady eyes go wide with anger as he reads through the paper.
Why, that no good cat. The whole market could have gone up in a ball of fire.
I'll take it you let the Chandler off the hook?
Sure. Looks like he wasn't involved in this plot, though I still don't care for his candles much.
Excellent. Maybe with you three at peace, we can get to the bottom of this. Now that these three fellas have cooled down a bit, I better have a chat with that plump purple pony to figure out the best way to confront this swindler. Oh, Joy, you're back. Did you find anything in those shops? It would appear your market is plagued by the mastermind schemes of the cat. Well, maybe not so mastermind. She did leave behind a bunch of clues for me to find.
As though summoned, a furry shape somersaults onto a nearby rooftop with a flourish.
Ah, I see you're a fan of my genius accomplishments. Well, you're in luck. Soon I'll have this whole village at my mercy.
Quickly, your magic horn.
The unicorn shuffles its stumpy legs to get a better shot at the monologuing feline. With a flick of her tail, the cat disappears, leaving only her voice cackling behind.
You'll have to be faster than that, Snowpokes.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not very maneuverable in high-pressure situations. Don't fret. We'll have to make sure she stands still. I should be able to concoct a tantalizing kitty treat strong enough to keep her attention. I'll set it up by that big statue there. You just get ready to fire.
You place down the scrumptious-looking cat treat and duck behind a pumpkin to hide. Within moments, you hear the telltale laughter of the cat over the market stall.
That's the best you can do? What do you take me for, a basic alley cat? You'll need more than a lump of garbage to catch me.
Despite her lofty words, you see her eyes go wide and her tail flick as the scent of fish and catnip reaches her nose.
Why, I'm the most sophisticated criminal underlord this world has ever... Say, what is that, tuna?
You give the signal to the unicorn, but see that the beast is still facing entirely the wrong direction.
Must I do everything around here?
You slap the unicorn on its haunches, jolting it out of a daydream.
Huh? What? Oh, right, the cat.
The beast carefully takes aim, making sure to account for drag and wind speed direction.
All right, I've got her this time. By the light of the truth, I banish all lies from thee.
A brilliant spark of rainbow light emits from the unicorn's horn and streaks towards the preoccupied cat. When the colorful smoke clears, you can't see hide nor hair of the cat. Only a smoldering pair of fancy leather boots remain near the statue.
Wow, for a moment there, I thought all that talk about your magic horn was pure hogwash. I mean, usually it doesn't have such an explosive effect. I only meant to expel the lies from her, but I guess she was all lies? Didn't have a truthful bone in her body. Well, whatever the reason, I suppose she won't be blighting your market any longer. That's right, I can't wait for life to go back to normal. Thank you for all your help.
You glance at one of the cat's boots slumped over on its side.
I better go gather her up.
You pick up the smoking boots of the cat. A rainbow hue radiates off the leather. They smell strongly of feet and candy. The soul of the cat, though you suspect she may have 8 more lives left.
Bring me seashells, the nice kind too, the ones that sound like ocean waves.
You hold out your collection of shells for the sailor to inspect.
Ah, a fine booty.
Excuse me?
Go on and take 'em to the captain. He'll see you're fairly compensated for your services.
A dapper fish sits beside a hoard of seashells, obsessing over each one like a jeweler. He grabs the nearest one and runs his thin fingers carefully over the shell's spines. Bringing the seashell to his lips, he blows a low, trumpeting note. His bulbous eyes light up with hope, as if awaiting for something. An uneventful moment passes, and he tosses the disappointing shell aside.
Are you a useless piece of flotsam?
He grabs the next shell on the pile.
This one has gotta be this one.
Ahem, I'm looking for the captain of this ship.
The ship's eyes swivel at you suspiciously.
Are you daft? Can't you see my big hat? I am the captain.
You don't look much like the father of that little red-headed girl on the docks.
Then you must be talking about my predecessor. Tragic, really.
The fish shakes his head and blows sad bubbles from his pipe. He grabs the nearest shell and runs his thin fingers carefully over the spines.
What happened?
Poor bloke went overboard during a nasty typhoon. We tried to fish him out of the drink, but I'm afraid to say he's with old Davy Jones now. As his trusted first mate, it was my responsibility to take up his mantle.
He adjusts his oversized hat with pride.
Now, you best be having something for me, or else you wouldn't be wasting my time.
You mean these seashells? The deckhand outside said you pay for 'em.
The fish tears the shells out of your hands with such force that you nearly lose your footing. He brings the first shell to his lips and blows on it so hard that specks of slime go flying everywhere. Makes a pathetic squealing whistle. The fish slumps back down into his fat red chair, tossing aside the shell.
Cursed rubbish, I'll never find it.
Find what? If you're looking to pick up a musical instrument, you're sure going about it in a funny way.
Never you mind what. Just bring me more seashells.
He flicks an odd coin-shaped object at your face.
What's this? I just traded you a bunch of shells.
It's the currency of the future. You get it on the ground floor, you'll be richer than the Stag Prince when I'm in charge of things. So if you want to be set for life, you just bring me more seashells.
I think I'll manage my own investments, thank you. A shame I'll have to break the bad news to the child about her father.
Did you get inside the boat? Have you seen my dad?
I'm afraid to inform you that your father was lost at sea.
What? That That's impossible. He's the captain, and a captain never abandons his ship. Who told you that he was lost? Was it that slimy first mate, the fish?
As a matter of fact, it was. Why?
Of course. That explains why everyone is collecting seashells. He's trying to find the conch.
He's swindling everyone in town just so they'll help him find a conch shell?
It's not just any conch. My dad used to tell a story to all those who listen. One night, during a terrible storm, a handsome young sailor fell overboard, and as he sank down into the sea, a beautiful mermaid came to his rescue. She brought him back to the shore beneath the lighthouse. It was love at first sight. But alas, they couldn't be together. She had fins and he had feet. But they made a special promise. Whenever he missed her sweet voice, he'd stand under the lighthouse and blow an enchanted conch. No matter where she was, she'd hear the sound and come to see him. That way, they could be together, even if only for a moment. Isn't that romantic?
It's just a silly fairy tale, girl.
But that gross fish believes it. I bet he thinks he can make the mermaid fall in love with him if he gets the conch. They both got fins, after all. And maybe my dad's still out there. Maybe he got rescued by a mermaid, just like the story. Oh, please, you have to find the conch before the fish does. It might be the only way to find my dad.
If the fish has everyone in town combing the beach for this thing, what makes you think I'll have a better chance?
Maybe they're all looking in the wrong place. The sailor in the story lived in a lighthouse, not on the beach.
This old lighthouse has seen better days. Although it towers high above the pier, the paint has faded and the windows have crusted over with the layers of salt. The door refuses to budge. Growths of barnacle and coral seem to have sealed it shut. You put your ear to the keyhole and hear the unmistakable sound of a roar of an ocean. With your face close to the door, you spot words carved into the weathered wood, lengthy babbling prose about love, loss, and the sea.
What terrible poetry. But mayhaps it's some forlorn magic left here by the old lighthouse keeper? Well, I don't have the time to go fishing for long-lost keys. A good dose of love juice ought to open up any embittered heart.
The rusty lock makes a sound like a sloppy kiss as you turn the key inside it, bubbling and creaking. The aged metal hinges protest as years of grime dissolve away. The wooden door swings open to reveal a wall of emerald seawater. You can see fish swimming about inside, but not a drop crosses the threshold.
Oh my, the entire lighthouse must be filled up like a bottle.
You prod the salty aperture with your fingers, sending ripples along the surface. Then, as if you pulled a stopper from the tub, the water begins to drain. Slowly at first, but quickly building ferocious speed, the waves cascade around you. You catch notes of trumpeting sounds droning above the crashing swells. The music turns to a soft whisper as the last of the flood is sucked away, leaving the inside of the lighthouse damp and encrusted with stranded sea life. You bend down to examine the source of the drainage. A golden conch shell is wedged between the waterlogged floorboards. You put the conch to your ear. It sounds as if an entire ocean is contained within it.
Ah, what a marvel. I wonder if the mermaid still will answer its call after all this time. The child's story said to blow it out over the water under the lighthouse.
Standing at the end of the pier, you blow into the conch. You feel a warm breeze pass through the salty waves and uplift your spirits. A crystal-clear trumpeting note rings out from the shell and seems to still the ocean waters to a mirror state. Sweet laughter chimes like a bell in response, and a shadowy shape approaches from the depth below. An enormous full-bodied figure breaches the stillness of the water, throwing her hair back joyfully and extending her arms out to the sun. She thrust her body up onto the outcropping of rocks, splashing her long fin tail in the waves. Aha! As the mermaid speaks, her voice is operatic. My gift, lain silent for years, now sounds again. Sad music for my ears, my lover long gone, but the memory still sweet. I thank you for the nostalgia. What would you...
I'm looking for a man lost at sea. He was the captain of that tall ship over there.
You point to the high sails looming over the docks.
I don't suppose you've had any dealings with him.
This man I have seen, though his fate is not known, placed on a plank, overboard he was thrown. Downward he plunged, though not to the bottom. No, a great serpent swam up from the deep and got him.
He was pushed overboard. That grubby fish told me he was lost in a storm. Did you see where the Leviathan went to?
The lagoon by the shore holds a secret below. Send away the tides and the serpent will show. Keep that conch close, lo, and I shall abide. I'll bring the strength of the sea to your side. With her song finished, she blows you a wet kiss and starts preening her hair with a spiny seashell. You take a deep breath and press the conch to your lips. Its clarion call echoes across the rippling tide. You feel the waves swell around your feet, reverberating with the sound of the conch. The water disappears so fast that you're unsure if the tides are receding into the ocean or if the seafloor itself is rising from the depths. When the water recedes, you look across the island to a yawning cave opening. From within, you sense the steady rhythm of enormous breaths. You can't help but shudder under the powerful gaze of the monstrosity before you. A booming voice sounds throughout the cavern, as if you were in the very throat of the beast.
Who dares enter my sanctum?
I have come looking for a man lost at sea.
The coils of the serpent shudder and wheeze. You brace yourself as the creature reels back and unleashes a cough loud enough to shatter a mountain.
Oh, excuse me. Have you caught ill, Master Serpent?
You landwalkers are all alike, forever throwing your refuse into my waters. I have been poisoned by your insufferable detritus. My stomach aches, my inside burns.
What's the matter? Did you swallow something you shouldn't have?
I have swallowed many things. You should not be here, land creature.
Now, you're not well, and I might be able to help you. Open up that gob of yours and let me take a look inside.
Perhaps you have come to strike the final blow against me. Why should I trust you?
You're being dramatic. I'm not going to hurt you. But if you don't let me take a look inside your belly, that sickness will surely fester.
Doubtful, but perhaps I can humor you. You prove that you are a friend to the ocean. Answer me these riddles 3. Only then will I trust your words, landwalker. The first of my questions. You pull my waters from the ground to quench your thirst. What manner of beast sits atop the well of your forest? Another question. You may bury your dead in the earth, but there is no escape from the call of the deep. Whose watery gaze watches over your graveyard? The final question. You landwalkers desire gold over all things. But in front of your banking house, what creature rules with true happiness?
The enormous creature rolls back its yellow eyes, bellowing with laughter. The laughter quickly succumbs to another bout of violent coughing.
Curse my miserable body. Can I not even enjoy a moment of levity? It appears I was mistaken about you, landwalker. You have proven yourself worthy of my trust.
The beast opens wide its cavernous jaws, filling the air with a fishy stench.
Enter, but heed my warning. Break your word, and I will digest you without hesitation.
Ahoy! Don't tell me that overgrown eel gobbled you up as well. Come and warm yourself by the fire. We ain't going anywhere soon.
You look at the throbbing red wells of the monster's stomach and notice the discoloration and spotting. The campfire smoke is surely the cause of the beast's ailment.
Actually, I came here looking for you, Captain.
How'd you know I was captain?
There's a little minnow waiting on the docks for her father.
Oh, my little girl, my heart and joy. I promised I'd see her as soon as we anchored, but I never got the chance.
Has it got anything to do with that fishy fella captaining your ship?
Raising his arms in anger, the man stomps his feet on the fleshy floor. The outburst causes the serpent another coughing fit, rocking you back and forth.
The rotten son of a barnacle. We were just a few weeks from home when he conspired to mutiny. Ever since I told him the tale of the mermaid and her conch, he got this hungry look in his eye. He ain't never seen someone so obsessed. So he and the other bad apples jumped me in the night and tied me up, the rest of my trusty crew as well. Then that flop and flounder made us walk the plank to the briny deep. I was praying to Neptune and he must have answered my call. This great bloody serpent swallowed me up and saved me from drowning. Been stuck in here ever since. Can't seem to get out, but the fire keeps me from going all the way through the other end, at least. Though, with that metal head of yours, you ought to have no trouble, passing through without much fuss.
Just what I needed today. Say, all that smoke is causing our host great discomfort. I'm sure you'd both be happier if you parted ways.
How do you suppose we do that?
Let me see what I can cook up with that fire pit of yours.
If one were to build up enough irritants, the beast may be provoked into explosively expelling the source. You pile the eye-watering ingredients on the campfire and fan the flames. Soon, black smoke billows up and fills every nook and cranny with its stinging odor. The captain scratches his nose and stifles a great sneeze.
Phew, that's quite a concoction. The serpent will feel more than a tickle in his throat.
You feel a deep rumbling through the fleshy floor.
Get ready to set sail, Captain. We'll be out of here soon enough.
You kick up the smoky coals, spreading the aggravating haze until a rumbling quake knocks you onto your backside.
Landwalker, what have you...
The captain leaps into your arms, and the two of you clutch each other tightly as muscles contract violently beneath your feet. A surging contraction forces you up and out of the serpent's blowhole like a gunshot. You shoot out of the serpent's cavern and clear over the lagoon. The captain holds you tighter than a life buoy as you sail across the blue sky. The tiny harbor front below grows closer and closer until the hulking mass of a ship rushes up to meet you. With a crash of splintering wood and rushing water, everything goes black. You regain your senses and get to your feet. Despite feeling a bit soggy, everything seems to be in working order. Behind you, the fish's base of operations has been cracked open like an egg. Fishermen are busy rescuing shell-shocked sailors from the waters.
Oh my, what happened here?
You didn't see it. A great bloody cannonball came rocking out of the sky and stove in the captain's pride and joy. Poor girl didn't even stand a chance. I've never seen a shot so powerful. I think all hands managed to get clear of the wreckage, though.
All hands? What about the fish?
The buccaneer wipes a single salty tear from his face. He points to something familiar that has washed up on the nearby shore.
You know what they say. The captain always goes down with his ship.
It appears to be the bicorn captain's hat last worn by the fish, waterlogged and shot through with splinters. You reach down to pick it up, but it flops on the sand like some beach sea creature. The soul of the fish. You find the captain and his daughter in a loving embrace.
Dad, I just knew you'd come back.
My sweet little sea star, I'm so sorry I made you wait for so long. Can you ever forgive this old wash-up?
As you walk through the dilapidated estate, the temperature drops drastically. The floorboards and walls groan angrily as the whole building is upset at your invasion. A gust of wind suddenly rushes up the staircase as though the house itself was drawing breath. An ear-splitting scream stirs dust from the rafters and makes your knees weak.
Ah, that's definitely the melodious voice of a banshee or on my chicken's aunt.
You take a step forward, but ghostly skeletal hands rise up through the creaking floorboards. They reach out, grasping, and you feel your spirit fade at their frigid touch.
You're all lucky I misplaced my specter sickle, or I'd cut you down like weeds. Guess I should report back to that gravedigger anyway.
You're back. It's a demon from the underworld, isn't it? Oh, or maybe a leech come to summon up an army of darkness?
Relax, it's just your run-of-the-mill banshee.
A banshee! I knew it! No wonder the dead been so angry lately. How are they supposed to get any rest with all this racket? Huh. But a spirit only becomes a banshee when it's been terribly wronged.
Who used to live in that house?
I don't rightly know. It's been abandoned since before my time. Always was pretty creepy, though.
The place was so haunted that I couldn't get in for a better look. A good exorcism ought to clean it right up. This sort of stuff happen often?
Why, just last year I had to deal with a ghoul that wouldn't stop breaking into the crypts. Darn fellow was trying to fight his long-lost love or something.
The old man turns to rummaging through his cluttered shack looking for something.
Anyways, eventually I had to call in the Grave Squad exterminators. They got that nasty ghoul rounded up before he found too many tombs, but they left behind this, where did it go? They gave me this, to ward off any angry spirits that might be left over.
He holds up a rusty-looking lantern.
A ghost lamp? I thought those things got recalled because of all those possessions.
Huh? I never heard nothing about that. Now this thing ain't powerful enough for banshees, but it should keep the lesser spirits away.
He gives the lamp a shake, but only a puff of purple smoke rises off the wick.
Aw, geez, looks like I forgot to keep it fueled up. I'd go and get the gas myself, but with the graveyard in this state...
He shrugs feebly at you.
You're hopeless. What does the ghost lamp need for fuel?
He squints at the fading label on the back.
The webbed wings still flap of their own accord. The phantom goo feels as if it's attempting to pull you down beneath the soil. The crypt crawler's silk is thick and smells oddly of lilac.
I seem to have misplaced my reading glasses, so maybe you better prepare the mixture.
You read off the well-worn instructions printed on the lantern. They're horridly confusing and riddled with spelling mistakes.
How did these contraptions ever make it to market in the first place? You better stand back. If I do this wrong, things might get a little explodey.
You grind together the gruesome ingredients into a waxy paste before rendering the whole mixture down over the Gravekeeper's cooking fire. The odor coming from the wet, bubbling soup makes the hairs in your nose prickle, but you power through it and pour the ghastly oil into the lantern. The Gravekeeper raises one caterpillar-like eyebrow at you.
No kaboom? Perfect. Give her a good shake.
You swish the oil inside the lamp and light the wick. Slowly, a bluish, unearthly glow fills the space.
You take a look at that. Fresh as a daisy. Just wave it around. Should any Ward goalies try to accost you. It should clear the way to the miserable banshee. If and maybe you could ask her what all the fuss is about.
Come to taunt me as well.
Taunt you? I come to find out why you're throwing such a tantrum. You raise the dead with your wailing.
The rat's jaw drops to her collarbone, howling as her ghostly arms reach for you. You quickly raise the ghost lamp high, bathing the room in cold light. The spirit recoils away, covering her eyes with translucent hands.
Why do you torment me so?
Oh, quit being so dramatic. Now tell me what's got you so upset.
He's gone. That sneak, that thieving, plague-ridden roller stole it.
What's gone? Who stole it?
My family's crypt was defiled by that wretched rat. My most precious treasure. My brooch is gone. I will not rest until I have it back.
Ah, the rat stole the brooch from your crypt. That's enough to make anyone upset.
Yes, it was stolen. Ripped from my breast. Where has it gone?
Well, if the rat pilfered it off your remains, maybe he left behind a clue as to where he ran off to. But that crypt is jammed full of caskets. How will I know which box is yours? What was your name?
I do not remember. Who was I? Everything is clouded by my suffering.
Well, this was your house, right? There must be some relics in here that can point me in the right direction. Oh, Okay, I get it. I'll get to the bottom of this. Then you can stop all this howling.
This corroded picture frame has almost completely deteriorated. You can barely make out ghostly figures sitting together in a rotten frame.
A shame. Time has almost forgotten this family. Maybe I can restore just this little piece of them? Seems like you got a grave robber on the loose. The banshee had a brooch stolen from her family crypt.
A grave robber? Oh, damn those despicable degenerates. With the increase of ghosts, I haven't been able to do my nightly patrols.
I need to get to the crypt and find her body. The thief might have left something behind.
Well, good luck. That place has more spiders than I have liver spots, so you'll understand if I stay behind.
You clean away the grit and grime to reveal a proud lion staring back at you. This crest looks like it matches one of the burial rooms in the crypt. Color and light flood back into the faded painting to reveal a content-looking family. Recognize one of the younger girls by her shock of hair and the brooch on her chest.
This must be our wailing wraith, a granddaughter by the looks of it, so she must be on the lower tiers of the crypt. This heavy box seems like it might contain important family documents, but it's locked. I doubt the key is anywhere around here. I better just make my own.
You crack open the chest to find a collection of moldy papers and bills, but a heavy book at the bottom looks promising. In the cracked leather-bound tome, you browse through long-forgotten obituaries. And we mourn her death, the third of her siblings to pass. Much beloved, she will be long remembered for her beautiful singing voice and tireless pursuit of justice.
Sounds like our banshee. The third to die. That will mean that her casket will be the third one in her row. I think that's everything I need to know. The banshee's body is buried under the crest of the lion. She's a granddaughter, so she'll be on the bottom row. And she was the third one to pass away.
You dig your nails underneath the loose plaque and begin to pull. The rusty bolts pop off the corners and the end cap as the whole thing rips off the wall. You toss away the gray cover and peer inside the dark hole, holding your lamp aloft. Dozens of small, beady eyes look at you.
Rats!
You quickly jump aside.
Filthy little biters, come to pilfer more graves.
Squeaking and hissing, they flow like some lumpy liquid rushing back towards the entrance. You get the feeling that these rats are far more organized than any normal pest.
Where are you off to, little devils? Running back to your master, perhaps?
The brush is quickly subsumed in tongues of flame, scattering the rats beneath. Their frenzied rout is not without order, though. In a wave of fur and claws, they scramble through the graveyard towards their next hiding place. The horde of rats pour between the bars of this crumbling mausoleum, swirling in a gyre just out of reach. Once more they have found temporary refuge.
Such a closed-in space seems right for this good smoking. They won't be able to hold out long.
The smoke emanating from the pellet is thick and concentrated. Even though they are below the worst of it, the choking fumes are enough to flush the rats out. Once more they rush forth, this time fleeing towards the shadow of the ruined church. The flood of rats squeeze through the bars of a great brass gate and disappear into the ruins of the squat abandoned church. Heavy chain binds up the gate, and the rusted padlock is well beyond accepting any sort of key. Something more potent will be needed to open it. The iron of the padlock wheezes and protests as it melts away into a blackened goo. The chain falls away, and you push open the gate to the churchyard beyond. You attempt to pick up the candlestick, but find it attached to some mechanism inside the altar. A latch flips, and you watch a stack of boxes slide aside to reveal a hidden crack in the wall. Who in the blazes are you? Who let you in, huh?
I let myself in. You should really hide your secret lair a bit better. Though I must admit, this is quite the collection you've acquired here.
Why, what is it to you? You looking to make a trade? We got what are your needs, sister? If you can pay the price, that is.
As a matter of fact, I'm looking for an old antique brooch, and I've heard you're the one to talk to.
Yeah, we got plenty of brooches. Any of these beauties catch your eye? The vermin flips open his cloak and you see it's lined with rows and rows of jewelry. You lean in for a closer look. The items all look like priceless family heirlooms, but you can't pick out the one belonging to the banshee.
I'm not sure. I'll need to confer with my friend as to which one is the right one.
The rat narrows his eyes suspiciously and hides his wares back inside his cloak. And just who is this friend of yours?
Why, she's the original owner, of course. She would very much like her property returned to her.
No deal. We don't make trades with the dead.
But you're happy enough to steal from them. Let me just go tell my friend where your little hideout is. I'm sure she'll be more persuasive than myself.
Fool, this place is sacred ground. No bad spirits can interfere. Now get out of here before we pick you clean.
All right. No need to be crass. No spirits may cross the threshold. Well, then I'll just have to invite one in myself.
You eye the flat surface of the barren altar. It looks like the perfect place to conduct a seance. You close your eyes and place your hands on the planchet of the spirit board. Concentrating hard, you try to focus your thoughts towards the haunted mansion.
Hello? Can you hear me? Show me a sign.
The planchet begins to twitch and move, slowly tracing out letters on the board. Who is this?
Oh, come now. Who else would it be? I'm calling to let you know I found where the rat is. You might want to come down here and speak to him.
The light flickers within the halls and dim down until you are drenched in total darkness. Only the blood-red glow throbs from the altar. Wind rushes through the church, and you can hear the squealing of rats as they dive for cover. On the gale come the screams of the dead reverberating through the halls. The spirit board shudders and splits with the noise, and a skeletal hand claws its way out from the peephole of the cracked planchet.
He's here. I can smell him.
Right through that crack in the wall, actually.
The vengeful spirit howls and flies straight through your body as she sweeps down into the rat's hideout.
Grr! That's chilly. Wait for me. I need to see how this ends.
You dare take from me?
How did you... Wait, it's just a simple misunderstanding. I didn't...
Even in your hour of judgment you lie.
The rat's bulging eyes lock onto you in desperation. This is your doing, isn't it? You let her in here.
I am merely helping to settle a dispute. You thought all your grave robbing wouldn't come with consequences.
Peace, justice for your crimes, thief. The dead have come for you.
The banshee whirls around like a hurricane, drawing with her an innumerable host of ghosts and spirits. No, get off of us, you wretches. We were dead. Finders keepers. Special claws grab onto the rat and his verminous minions and drag them squealing into the underworld. With the crack of thunder, the howling wind evaporates. Not a single rat remains. A calm falls over the banshee. She reaches down and picks up one of the scattered brooches left on the floor.
My brooch, it's back. It's safe. I can finally sleep.
She clutches her treasure to her breast and looks at you with a final crooked smile before fading away in a glimmer of ghostly smoke. The eerie silence of the cave. You see something squirming in the debris. You brush aside some pilfered treasure and uncover a writhing mass of pink rat tails tangled together like worms.
Ugh. Looks like they got all knotted up trying to escape.
The soul of the rat.
Remember that when we are together, the wolves stay at bay, so keep yourselves and your friends in check. When someone strays from their flock, it's all our jobs to drive out the evil and say, no, no to colors, no to patterns, no to change.
Boo! Change! Change is scary, like wolves.
These fools couldn't share a single brain cell between the lot of them.
This anxious little dog attempts frantically to get a town guard's attention as they stand watch in front of the smoking ruins of a burned-down shop.
Please, you have to listen to me. My friend is missing.
The guard stifles a yawn, annoyed at having to be at work.
Oh, yeah? What's your friend look like?
The sleeves of the sheep's dog's oversized sweater flail about.
She's about yay tall, wears a green vest, has black wool.
So she's one of them sheep, huh? Probably just got lost. You know, them types aren't too bright.
She didn't get lost. She's gone missing. Her wool shop was burnt down on purpose. Can't you smell it in the air?
Calm down, sir. We're investigating the situation, but I'm sure this fire was a simple accident. Bet your friend just left the kettle on or something. Why don't you check with the ram in the town square? Anyone knows where a lost sheep is. Probably him.
How can you say that? Everyone knows that the ram hates the black sheep. Look at these footprints. I bet his goons have something to do with this.
Listen, you're starting to get on my nerves. Just leave this to the professionals, all right?
He turns away from the dog and goes back to doing absolutely nothing.
Professionals indeed. They couldn't find a fish in a frying pan. I better look into this funny business myself.
Listen closely, brothers and sisters. We must wear our wool proudly and show the world that plain is best.
That's right, plain wool is the best wool.
All of these outlandish colors and head-splitting patterns do nothing but confuse and enrage the senses. They are a product of misled individuals. And as we all know, individuals are weak, only united are strong. Together we speak louder than a single voice.
Wait, are all colors bad then? What about gray? It's almost plain white.
Gray is forbidden. Gray is a gateway to blue. And where there's blue, green isn't far behind. Then what's next? Yellow, purple, even red.
Ooh, no. Anything but red. No.
Always remember, colors lead to discord, to chaos. With chaos, the wolves will come for us all.
Ah, not the wolves. Watch out, there's one right there. The nearest sheep nearly jumps out of its fleece when it notices you.
I'm not a wolf, you half-wits.
Maybe not, but you're different, and that's just as bad. Right, boss?
That's right. So what does an outsider want with us? And are you here to tempt my flock with your anarchic ideas?
I doubt you lot would have room in your heads for any more ideals, but no, I'm here looking for the black sheep. It seems her shop was burned down last night. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
That bothersome black sheep is a thorn in my side. Never heeds my warnings, always goes against what's good and proper. And I assure you, I was tending my flock all night. Had nothing to do with her disappearance.
That little sheepdog begs to differ. He says you had always had it in for the black sheep, and I'm inclined to believe him with all your prattling.
Lies and slander. You have no proof of any wrongdoing. For all we know, she may have just left the kettle on.
As the sheep stomp about, you notice flakes of ash leaving black marks on the cobblestones of the village square.
Proof, eh? Looks like some of your flock have sooty feet. Wonder where this suspicious trail will lead.
You sprinkle the revealing powder over the cobblestones to reveal hidden footsteps, still blackened by ash. Appears as though several individuals were dragging something away from the town square last night. A struggle must have occurred here. You find the remnants of a torn burlap sack and some scattered fistfuls of wool. The footprints leading away look to be moving at great speed, like someone was being chased. A pair of lone footprints stuck into this vegetable garden. You notice some more footprints searching in confused directions farther afield. The black sheep must have been trying to hide from her pursuers. Maybe she managed to throw them off her trail? After following the ashen trail through the back streets, you come to a dead end. Your only company is a stone gargoyle squatting atop a building. You stand on your tiptoes to examine the great carved demon closer, noting the lovely knitted scarf billowing around its neck.
What a fine garment. I could do with the new one. It's starting to get chilly. Just hope it hasn't gotten any of that bird poo on it.
As you reach up to unwrap the scarf, the gargoyle's eyes swivel in their sockets with a sound like two grinding millstones.
Well, excuse me. I'm quite fond of this avian excrement, actually. It adds a touch of authenticity to the whole ensemble, don't you think?
Oh, I beg your pardon. I didn't realize I was speaking to a watcher.
Hey, a watcher? Why is that? No one ever comes to watch me. I'm handcrafted from the finest block of artisanal granite, so masterfully chiseled that I came to life. Nothing on this earth or beyond has a greater claim to beauty than I, and yet, day after day, I sit up here and no one gives me so much as a passing glance.
Well, maybe if you cleaned up once in a while.
Oh, hush. I don't need to take fashion tips from you, and besides, you only looked up at me because of this fabulous scarf. Admit it.
I was merely following this trail of sooty footprints, but now that you mention it, the scarf has a fine knit to it. You didn't happen to get it from a black sheep, did you?
Why, where else would I have gotten something so swanky in a sturdy little town? That black sheep is the only other person around here who appreciates good taste. Unlike that ghastly ram always ringing that gaudy bell of his and poo-pooing everyone else's fun. This world is alive and needs a good splash of color once in a while.
You know where the black sheep is, then?
Now, hold on. How do I know you're not another Asian banality like the ram? Just look at that skirt. So last century. I'll have to prove you're an ally of the fashion scene before I say another word. Now, I have my eyes on some new shoes for ages.
Why don't you just snag a pair from the village? Surely no one will notice.
Those clogs aren't fit for a horse. No, I got my heart set on elf shoes. Delicate, dainty, exquisite, and absolutely to die for. Plus, I could do with a nice hat to go with my fetching scarf. Maybe some needle and thread to do some decorations. Well, what are you waiting for? The fashion scene moves too quickly to stand around for.
As you present the handful of tiny clothing, the gargoyle lets out a grinding screech.
What's wrong?
These are simply magnificent.
The excited statue seems thrilled about the elf shoes in particular.
You nearly gave me a heart attack. And I don't see what's so great about those things. They're barely the size of thimbles.
Ignoring you, the gargoyle slips the minuscule shoes onto its wiggling toes.
Oh, but aren't they just lovely? And they match my scarf.
Well, I think you look ridiculous. Now tell me where the black sheep is, or I'll turn you into gravel next.
No need to wrinkle up your rags. I carried her out to a secret grove in the woods to hide from the ram. I managed to save some of her stock as well. Since you've shown yourself to be no friend to the ram, I guess I could find you there.
The gargoyle flexes his heavy stone wings on his back. Ah! Stay back! The ram sent you to finish me off, didn't he? Oh, crackers, I knew I couldn't trust that gargoyle to keep a secret.
Calm down. I didn't come to fleece you. In fact, I came to see why that miserable tyrant tried to run you out of town.
You glance around at the rescued rolls of patterned fabrics and balls of colored yarn.
All because of this lovely textile work?
I never meant to cause trouble. I just wanted to make beautiful clothing. But the ram saw my work as some affront to his great vision. He wants all of us sheep to dress the same, think the same, be the same. But I don't understand. Why can't I be different?
The loudest voice is seldom the wisest.
Tears well up in the sheep's eyes. They burned down my wool shop and tried to kidnap me. I only barely got away. Thankfully, that gargoyle was able to salvage some of my things from the fire. At a time like this, knitting clothing is the only thing I can do to calm my nerves. I hope I have enough yarn to last me. My poor spinning wheel was broken in the journey here.
A shame. I too am a weaver of sorts. Your wheel can't possibly be beyond repair. Can I take a look at it?
If you think it would help, be my guest.
As good as new. A few splints and some elbow grease and she's all ready to go.
Wow, really? Thank you so much. What can I ever do to repay you?
I think together we should repay that stinking ram for causing this mess in the first place. I have an idea to knit him a cardigan he won't soon forget.
Why, a special gift? That's a lovely idea.
But we'll need a personal touch, some wool collected from those dim-witted followers of his.
The ram guards his flock like an ogre. He won't be able to get a single hair off them while he's watching.
That is a problem.
Oh, unless you find his missionaries. Sometimes the ram sends out loyal sheep to spread the word. Why, I bet if anyone can find them, it's you. You found me, after all.
He spouts his gibberish to the corners of the world. Where are these missionaries?
Nearer than you think. They usually travel to the docks, the graveyard, and the market.
Well, a shame they won't have the ram's protection.
I've got plenty of fleece here, but if you have something special in mind, just put it by the spinning wheel.
Who's there? Show yourself in the name of Ram.
No need to be jumpy, my friend. I'm just a lonely old woman coming to grieve.
Oh, I thought you were one of those nasty ghosts. Usually this place is pretty dull, but lately it's been nothing but angry spirits.
He glances over his shoulder in near panic.
Oh, why'd the Ram send me here? This place gives me the creeps.
You scratch your cauldron in thought as the sheep jumps at a nearby patch of mist.
Looks like all I need to do is give this chap a good fright, and his wool will be mine for picking.
The skittish sheep nearly jumps out of his pelt in horror.
Now's my chance to shear his wool before he comes back to his senses.
You quickly snip a handful of wool.
Forget this. I don't care how angry the Ram gets. I'm going back to the flock. Hey, you. Know what stinks around here?
Your breath? Maybe cut back on some of the crabgrass.
Har har. Very funny. I'm talking about these mismatched folk walking around like disgusting individuals. Don't they care about unity at all? Aren't they lonely? Don't they want to be part of something bigger? How are they not full to the brim with pure horror and existential dread?
Leave the sheep to spiral deeper into his own metaphysical pit.
This fellow seems to be projecting some deep-seated issues. Perhaps if I give him a little push, he won't mind if I pilfer some of his wool.
The sheep's eyes glaze over as he looks deep into his soul and sees only nothingness.
What's the point of it all? I'm so alone.
Poor fella, he'll feel better when the curse lifts, but it'll be too late for his wool. Snip, snip.
You collect a dump of wool and pat the sheep on his fluffy head.
There. Things aren't always so bad. Why don't you run off home to your flock?
You're right. Maybe I'm not so alone after all.
The sheep wipes a dewy tear from his face and lopes off towards the village.
Excuse me, madam. Have you heard about the Ram, the one true leader?
Oh, truly? I don't have time for this.
Just look at all these clothing stalls around us. It's revolting. So many patterns. They make my eyes water with rage. Oh, I'll show you some eye-watering patterns, all right. Good magic show ought to set you a-spinning.
The sheep goes cross-eyed at the blinding display of pure magical speculation as you shuffle the deck of enchanted cards.
It's so, I can't see.
That's right. Keep your eyes on the pretty colors while I share you bold.
Before the sheep can recover his eyesight, you snip a healthy patch of wool from his backside.
I can still see the colors everywhere, even when I close my eyes. Out of my way. Can't preach like this. I gotta get back to the flock. Oh, hi. Did you need a lift out to the secret grove?
With all the goods at hand, you wave the black sheep over to the spinning wheel to get started.
A bit stiffer than I'm used to, but I can work with this.
She rolls the sleeves up over sleeves and prepares the bobbin. As the black sheep manages the wheel, you assist by weaving your own magic into the fibers as you feed them through the device. Dazzling colors of every hue shoot out of the whirling wheel, sending sparks dancing into the underbrush. Soon a large ball of rainbow-tinted yarn is wound together.
Wow, we didn't even have to use any dye. I could use your help anytime.
She gathers up the yarn and admires it before handing it to you.
My thanks to you, I couldn't have done it without your skills at the wheel. Say, you should think about returning to the village soon. Your little doggy friend was quite worried about you last time I saw him.
Oh my gosh. I was in such a panic that I completely forgot about him. But what about the ram and his flock? I'm a goner if I go back there.
You leave that to me.
Color is a path to division, and division is the bedfellow of damnation.
You twist a length of multicolored thread into a makeshift lasso. Shifting colors make the thread appear to be alive.
What nonsense. I'll just loop my magic yarn around each of these sheep and show them the world is more than black and white.
Stopping in the middle of his sermon, the ram notices that his flock is no longer paying attention to him. The flock turns away from the ram's ravings, fully enraptured by the colorful thread.
Hey, what are you fools doing?
This is the black sheep's work? Wow, I just assumed it was ugly because the ram said so.
No, you idiots, it's wrong! Have you forgotten everything I've taught you?
Yeah, look at all these wild colors. I never knew wool would be so cool.
Stop looking at the colors!
Amongst the commotion, the voice of the black sheep pipes out.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you really appreciate my handiwork. Are you kidding? This is the most amazing wool we've ever seen. Where can we get some more?
Stop! Listen to me!
Oh, wow, look at all those customers. We need to get that shop of yours up and running again. You're right. Oh my, this is all so overwhelming. Looks like it's time to roll up my sleeves and get back to work. Does that mean you'll reopen your wool shop? We'll have it fixed up again if it means we can get more of this fabulous colors.
The ram swings his bronze bell harder and harder, desperately trying to be heard over the joyful celebration of his flock.
Oh my, what in the dickens happened?
I guess he clanged that awful bell of his just a little too hard. Gave his own head a proper ringing that couldn't take any more.
You glance over to the ram's empty stout box.
A fitting end, I suppose. A shepherd is nothing without his flock.
You pick up the bell, but not a sound emanates from it. Something is muffled. You turn it over to look inside and find that the metal clanger is covered in a familiar, bristly white wool, the soul of the ram. You sense the souls of the fish, cat, rat, and ram pulse with captive malignancy.
The goat will be wanting to take custody of these four. Best not keep him waiting.
The goat snorts with delight at your approach.
Wonderful. You've returned with more souls. These are even more troublesome than the last. I will be glad to be rid of them. If you would be so kind, bring them to the shrine. Then we'll be one step closer to concluding our business together.
The clanging of the ram's bronze bell rings out in your ears, many voices chanting in unison, grabbing hands, trampling feet. The machinations of the cat unfold before you as her boots burn away before the shrine, pieces moving on a game board, cheats, laughter, lies. Sensations of the rat fill your mind, tiny feet scratching at crumbling walls, digging cold earth, snapping brittle bones, taking, stealing, hiding. You hold your breath as the salty feeling of the fish washes over you, the sound of creaking wood, jagged barnacles, crashing waves, fading light. Betrayal. Your shoulders straighten as if a great weight is lifted from them. The maiden stirs in her sleep, troubled by fitful dreams.
Only 4 more souls left until our contract is fulfilled. But I expect it has been a tiring day. Come, you should get some sleep. Yes, I could rest.